Hey, numismatists and coin collectors. Welcome back to my channel where we dive deep into the world of coins, history, and hidden treasures. Today, we are exploring the 1968 Canadian 5-cent coin, a seemingly ordinary nickel that holds secrets, errors, and potential value for collectors. But did you know this was a year of major changes in Canadian coinage? Some of these nickels are pure nickel, while others have a different composition. Some have rare errors that make them worth hundreds of dollars. In this video, we'll cover everything you need to know about the 1968 Canadian nickel, including the history of the 5-cent coin. Why was 1968 a turning point for Canadian money? Composition changes, how to tell if your coin is rare. Rare errors that can make it highly valuable. The current market value and how much collectors will pay. Tips for collecting, grading, and selling these coins. If you love numismatics, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Now, let's dive into the history of this fascinating history of the Canadian 5-cent coin. Before we get into the specifics of the 1968 nickel, let's take a step back and look at the long history of Canada's 5-cent piece. Canada's 5-cent coin was first introduced in 1858, back when Canada was still a British colony. The early 5-cent pieces were made of silver and were known as fish scales due to their small size. In 1922, silver was replaced with nickel, and the 5-cent coin became larger. The iconic beaver design, created by British artist George Kruger Gray, was introduced in 1937. The beaver on the coin represents Canada's fur trade history, which was crucial to the nation's economy in the 17th and 18th centuries. The design remained virtually unchanged for decades, except during World War II, when temporary tombac, copper-zinc alloy, nickels were introduced to save nickel for the war effort. Why 1968 was a pivotal year for Canadian coins. Now, let's focus on 1968 and why this year is so special for Canadian coinage. In 1968, the Royal Canadian Mint was facing rising metal costs and the growing need for a more efficient coinage system. That year marked a significant shift, as the Canadian diamond quarter stopped using silver and switched to a copper-nickel alloy. The 5-cent coin also saw changes. Midway through the year, the Royal Canadian Mint stopped producing pure nickel coins and began making them with a copper-nickel composition, 75% copper, 25% nickel. This means that some 1968 nickels are pure nickel, while others are copper-nickel, making it one of the few Canadian coins with two different compositions in the same year. Why does this matter? Pure nickel coins are more valuable, and collectors actively seek them. How to identify a pure nickel versus copper-nickel 1968 5-cent coin? So, how do you know if your 1968 nickel is the valuable pure nickel version or the less rare copper-nickel variety? Here's how you can test it. Magnet test. Pure nickel coins are strongly magnetic. Copper-nickel coins are much less magnetic or completely non-magnetic. If your 1968 nickel sticks firmly to a magnet, you have a pure nickel coin. Color and shine test. Pure nickel coins have a more silvery, bright shine. Copper-nickel coins tend to have a slightly duller, less reflective finish. Tip: if you have a pure nickel version in high-grade condition, it could be worth several dollars more than its copper-nickel counterpart. Valuable errors to look for in the 1968 Canadian 5-cent coin. Now let's talk about the real money makers, coin errors. These mistakes happen during the minting process and can make your 1968 nickel worth much more than face value. Double die obverse, DDO. This occurs when the die strikes the coin twice, causing doubling in the text or design. Look for doubling in Canada, the date 1968, or Queen Elizabeth II's portrait. Value, $50,000, $100,000. Die cracks and cuds. A die crack appears as a raised line on the coin where the die has cracked. A cud is an extra blob of metal caused by a broken die. Value, $30,000, $50,000 depending on size and location. Off-center strikes. If the design is not properly centered, this is an off-center strike. The more extreme the misalignment, the more valuable it is. Value, $5,000, $2000 plus. How much is a 1968 Canadian 5-cent coin worth today? Now, let's talk about value. How much can you actually get for a 1968 Canadian nickel? Common circulated 1968 nickels. Pure nickel, magnetic, 10 cents, $1. Cupra nickel, non-magnetic, 5 cents, 50 cents. Uncirculated, mint state, coins. MS-60 to MS-63, $2, $10. MS-64 to MS-65, $15, $40. MS-66 and higher, $50, $150 plus, very rare. Error coin values. Double die obverse, DDO, $50,000, $10000 plus. Off-center strikes, $30,000, $50000 plus. Major die cracks / cuts, $5,000, $20,000. Should you keep or sell your 1968 Canadian nickel? Here's my advice on whether to keep or sell your 1968 nickel. Keep it if it's in uncirculated condition, MS-63 plus. It's a pure nickel version, magnetic. It has a rare error like a DDO or CUD. Sell it if it's heavily worn and only worth face value. You find a high value error coin and want to cash in. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive, hit like and subscribe for more coin collecting content. Let me know in the comments if you have a 1968 nickel. Did you test it with a magnet? Happy collecting.